Folks, welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, May 2nd. MLB is going to take center stage. I'll be your host today, Donnie Rightside, my partner in crime on Twitter. He is at Jeff Nadu, otherwise known as the big man on campus. Nice day again in the Northeast. The weather's starting to change. May baseball is here, big man. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, happy May 2nd, Donnie. They say April showers will bring May flowers. That means, I know you and me were kind of in April, we were kind of just having fun, trying things out. But the time has come where we really delve into the baseball. And we'll continue to do the show here at SBR. If you're out there, subscribe to the page. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do it. Like the show, like all the shows at SBR. There's such a great content base here. One of the only people in the business to be doing everything here at SBR. Go ahead, watch the videos, get familiar with everybody, and come back and watch our show every day here as we continue to produce the content.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. And again, on Twitter, they're at SBR Sports Picks. Also the website as well, SBRodds.com. As you know, me and Jeff also do the late night at campus 4 days a week. We'll certainly be in action on that again. Different type of show is what we're going to present to you today. If you haven't watched before, we're going to go strictly right down Major League Baseball. We're going to have a lot of fun doing it. There's some NBA action also, as well as NHL action from what I'm looking here on the odds board. Fun night last night. We had Joe Duffy on last night to talk a little bit of NFL football, some early season wagers that you might want to look at, and also putting a bow on the NFL draft. So always nice to have Joe on the show with us there.
Yeah, Joe's someone I've kind of been in contact with and have watched videos with for a long time. So yeah, good guy. Always fun to talk to, and he always gives a nice kind of numbers edge to the show. So good to have him on tonight. We'll have Peter Loshak on, Donnie, from
that's going to be good. Yeah, I haven't been on a show live with Peter yet, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, we'll discuss baseball, Peter, his life, kind of how he got into the business, and if you have a question, DM me. I'll try to ask him it. And should be fun. Peter's a whole lot of fun. Been doing videos with him for a long time, and it'll be nice to chat with him. I haven't chatted with him on a video for a while, so we'll get into that a little bit later. But, Donnie, let's start it out in baseball. We'll go through the NBA as well later. I'll throw out my opinion on the Champions League today, and we'll wrap it up. So, Donnie, let's get started in MLB.
You got it. We'll get started in MLB, folks. If you look at the bottom left there, if you're watching through YouTube, we continue to climb up there. 28,353 subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button. Welcome again to everybody there on the chat box as we go through the Major League Baseball season. Certainly break down the card today. Shun's out there. Adam, Kyle, Jason, Cash Money, Marco, Lou, Vitalis is out there. So everybody chiming in. Thanks again for that. Let's get right to that Major League Baseball card. No afternoon action today. So we'll stick to the rotation numbers and go directly down. We'll see if we can provide you with some information that might be able to help you cash in on another angle that you might not be looking at.
Donnie, just wanted to let everyone know, you don't have to ask us about a specific game. We will get into every game. We'll try to give an opinion. We'll give a couple free plays at the end. So, definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, we're going to get to everything, take a look at some weather conditions that are out there because there are some interesting ones. Jeff, let's get right into it tonight. Let's go back to the scene of the crime last night. My only play that I put out last night that I had a lot of confidence in was the New York Mets with Selman, Giselman, G. Selman, whatever you want to call the guy. He was a terrible pitcher, somehow wound up with the victory there on the New York Mets. Thank goodness Tehran wasn't on his game. But let's take a look today, Jeff, on the rotation. 901, 902, Matt Harvey versus R.A. Dickey. Early ticket indicator, 60% backing Matt Harvey in this situation. Line opened up with Pinnacle, Jeff, here at -108. If you check out SBRodds.com, Chris is at -104 in favor of Atlanta, -101. Almost a pick'em type spread here. Money evenly split as well, Jeff, 53% to 47%. If we take a look at Matt Harvey on the road this year, Jeff, pretty good. 2 road starts, 2.31 ERA. R.A. Dickey at home. Yeoman's work there, 3.46 overall. The New York Mets are 7-4 overall on the road. And Atlanta, not a good bounce back team here, Jeff. 3-10 after a loss. We'll see if they can bring the bats down there at SunTrust.
Yeah, I mean, they have brought him lately, though, Donnie. If you look at some of their numbers, I mean, this has been a pretty good offensive team. The problem that they've had is, keeping runs off the board, which has been an issue. You look at Tehran last night, really struggled. But, Donnie, you look at tonight, I mean, this is a tough one to call because, it truly, to me, is kind of a coin flip. I mean, the Mets have not played particularly well. Their pitching's been all over the place. What are they going to do now that Syndergaard's out for an extended period of time? They really need a quality effort from Matt Harvey tonight. I think this is one of for the Mets and their fans, I think this is one of the bigger starts of the year so far. They have to have a nice performance tonight. If it's going to be against anyone, you would think Matt Harvey could deliver against the Atlanta Braves. But for me, it's just hard to get involved with the Mets under any circumstance. I think this is very similar to last night in this game where I think the public ran to bet the Braves in that spot. And I thought the Mets were the sharp side. You and I talked about that. I think it's kind of flip-flop today. I think people will run to bet the New York Mets in this spot with R.A. Dickey. But truth of the matter is, Donnie, it's very nice down in Atlanta. That knuckleball should be at high strength tonight. And you also look at R.A. Dickey in his career. He has been fantastic in limited starts against the Atlanta or against the New York Mets. Now, it goes over all sorts of time, but you look at the one performance he had this year, 5 innings, give up 2 earned runs. So not particularly bad. But for me, this is a pass. I have a feeling Matt Harvey has a nice performance tonight. And I got to say, I do trust New York's bullpen a little bit over Atlanta. But for me, it's a total coin flip. I have no opinion on this game.
Yeah, this is why I really like doing the right side of campus with you, Jeff, because it's early in the afternoon. A lot of the fun in Major League Baseball season is doing the prep work. You know, Major League lineups aren't out yet so early. You're just looking at some starts that they've had in the past. You're looking at what might go forward. You know, not a lot of tickets have piled up there to give you a lot of indicators. So just getting that research done. So by the time that they have those starting lineups out, you can make that informed decision.
There's just I mean, I could make a case for both sides here.
Yes,
you know, I've made it clear I'm not a big fan of the knuckleball, but you know, look, I mean, R.A. Dickey's been in this league for a long time, and who's to say the Mets can hit the knuckleball? I mean, this lineup's poor, and there's just too many things going both ways. So, with all the games on the board, I would recommend passing on this game.
Yep. Next up on the board rotation, Jeff, 903, 904. Taijuan Walker is going to take on Tanner Roark. If we take a look at some early betting indicators in this one, only 31% are backing the road team with the Arizona Diamondbacks. However, they are getting 52% of the money. Line opened up at minus 133. If you check SBRodds.com, Chris has them at minus 131, minus 133. So not much movement there, but some nice indicators here coming up on Arizona. If we take a little bit of bullet points out and look at the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Nationals here today, Taijuan Walker, 2.70 ERA, Jeff, on 2 road starts. We do know how hard it is, or the way it looks how hard it is to pitch in Arizona at this time. So going outside of the state of Arizona has been kind to Taijuan Walker. Roark also doing very well. 3.50 ERA through 3 home starts. It was giving you some quality stuff. The one thing that you might want to pay attention here if you're betting totals, looking at team total, overs or unders, the wind is blowing out to right field at 18 miles an hour to start here. Arizona 11-6 versus right-handed pitching, Jeff. Washington 17-7 versus right-handed pitching. So something's going to give here.
Yeah, I'm all over the over in this game. You know, the one concern I do have, and I will make this clear, Arizona, I love at home. On the road, they're a different story. They've had major issues in 10 road games this year, hitting just 211 as a club. But, Donnie, all stars kind of align otherwise. I mean, you have 2 bullpens that have really struggled. You have 2 starters here who, look, are pretty average. I don't put a lot of stock into Walker on the road just because it is only been 2 starts on the road with the Arizona Diamondbacks. If you remember, he was in Seattle. I wonder how he'll translate in that ballpark. You mentioned the wind blowing out. That lineup is absolutely fantastic right now. I mean, you look at the latest 7 games, Nationals are putting up 11 runs a game. That's pretty unbelievable. And, Donnie, you look at the trends, 12 of 14 in this series particularly have gone over the total. You add in the average starter. I'm not a big Tanner Roark guy. 3 of his 4 starts have gone over the posted total. He gets run support for the most part. So for me, I would look over. I think this is going to be real similar, Donnie, to, you know, maybe an idea out in Coors where you might not have a lot of runs in the first 5 innings, but I think these bullpens will be definitely giving as far as runs are concerned late in this game. With these 2 sides, with these 2 pitching staffs, I think over is going to be a play in this series. I'll look to bet this throughout this series. I'm thinking I can win 2 out of 3.
I would tend to agree with that one there. If we keep it going down the rotation, Jeff, next up on the docket, 905, 906. That's going to be Pittsburgh at Cincinnati, Glasnow versus Feldman. Early tickets coming in, 40% are backing the home squad and only 25% of the money. It's a kind of interesting, you know, dynamic here with what's going on. Minus 115, Jeff, is what the line opened up. Has since been pushed at 5 times up to minus 131. So you have some nice, you know, I don't want to say reverse on that one, but that line is increasing despite having the least amount of tickets going one way and also the least amount of money. So that's one of those indicators that you might want to look at. I don't have that game circled because I don't really have too much on that. I want to see how those tickets pile up and how they come through. Last time with Glasnow on the mound, I did win. I believe it was the Cubs and John Lester, which we grabbed the win there. Glasnow's only had one road start, 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Feldman is 0-1 through his first 3 starts at home with 3.25 ERA. Pittsburgh 11-14 overall in the season. Just haven't been able to get it going yet. 4-9 in the division. Cincinnati is 12-10 versus right-handed pitching. Another interesting indicator here with weather. Jeff started the game. The wind is going to be blowing out to dead center at 16 miles an hour. It is going to get slightly less as the night goes on. But if you're one of those guys, I know a few guys on here like to bet first innings and totals and maybe will they score a run, that wind should be at your back at a good clip for the first part of that ball game.
Yeah, these are two teams that are just kind of blah to me. I mentioned last night, I don't think this Pirates line is particularly good at all. The Reds have actually won all 4 games against this Pittsburgh Pirates team this year. I'm not a big fan of Pittsburgh on the road, and I'm not a big fan of Glasnow. He has really struggled this year. He's a guy that is not going deep in ball games, and it's just really not good right now for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think they thought, early on they would be a lot better this year. They've had some off-the-field issues with not only Sterling Marte, but Jung Ho Kang can't even get into the country to play. So it's just been a weird year for them. The pitching's just kind of been blah. Their lineup's been just kind of blah. And the Reds have owned them, but I'm also not a big fan of the Reds. Feldman's been pretty solid, but these are just two teams I'm not interested in betting on either way. This is a pass for me, Donnie.
Yeah, not too much there early on as indicators. I want to get a good look at that lineup, see if Suarez might be back in today for Cincinnati. They do swing the bats well, and if that, the wind is blowing out of the ballpark, that could prove to be an interesting one. Totals, that one sets up, Jeff, opened at 9, dropped to 8.5, even with those windy conditions. So we'll see what happens in that one. Next up on the rotation, Jeff, 8:05 Eastern Standard Time, 9:07, 9:08. Hellickson and Lester on the mound. 36% of the tickets coming in on the Phillies. No surprise. Cubs always get a majority typically when they have their frontline pitchers out. 64% are backing the Chicago Cubs in this one. Another one I'm not really interested in. -220 it opens up, Jeff. Has come a little bit back, -220 at Chris, -215 at 5 Dimes, even a little bit higher at sportsbook.com if you check out sbrodds.com at -225. A couple little tidbits on this action. Hellickson, Jeff, through 5 starts. Can you believe it? 1.80 ERA. John Lester at home, nearly unhittable, a .69 ERA. Wind is blowing out, as is typical with Wrigley, to right field at 11 miles an hour. Both of these teams, surprising to me for the Phillies, 12-12 to start, and also surprising for the Chicago Cubs to be at 13-12 and under 500 at Wrigley Field. Last night, the Phillies laid it on the Cubs and laid it on early and often, putting up double digits in that ballpark. We'll see if the Cubs can respond tonight.
Yeah, Hellickson's been good. I mean, Phillies are 5-0 in his starts. He's been really the guiding light for this team. I mean, other than him, you really have nothing in that pitching rotation to get too excited about. But yeah, been very good. An ERA under 2. But you look at Lester. He's been even better at home. 13 innings, he's given up just 1 earned run, and his ERA is below a .70, which is absolutely marvelous. Yeah, look, I think, Donnie, in this game, I think we can agree the Phillies aren't particularly good on the road. I know they scored a lot of runs last night, but Brett Anderson was just in over his head. They kind of pounded him pretty early. But, they're not a particularly good team on the road offensively. The Cubs have struggled at home. I've told you before, I'm not very high on this team. I don't think they're that good. I think they're going to struggle. They'll make the playoffs, but they're not going to repeat or anything. They just don't have the same mojo as they did last year with Arrieta and some of their position players. I think this is probably a low-scoring game, Donnie. The one thing that has me kind of off it, I don't particularly have a good read on Phillies games. It seems like every time I bet on them, they lose. It seems like when I bet against them, they score 12 runs. I just don't have a big feel in this one, but the under looks kind of interesting. I think if both these starters can go 6-7 innings, which is hard to believe, but maybe, I'll go with the under, but I'm not very high on it.
Yeah, Jeff, the one thing I like always interesting as well with knuckleballers, John Lester always gets a high price. Very good pitcher, I get that. The one thing I still can't understand, and I don't know, those hidden baseball rules that everybody likes to talk about, John Lester cannot throw to a base.
Yeah, but...
And every time I watch their game, Jeff, it's a normal lead at first. Nobody wants to steal. It's almost like they're saying, at one point he's going to snap out of it and pick you off. I don't know. Maybe you can take a 30-foot lead at first base. He can't throw the ball to a base. Why don't you just get on first base and just rip it off to second base? I don't get it.
Right. No, I hear you. I mean, I think if it's really all about coaching and how much you want to go for. But yeah, if I was a coach, I would look to do it. But you really have to have the right leadoff guy. If you have a D. Gordon, a Billy Hamilton, an Adam Eaton when healthy, then yes, I would do it every single time because John Lester will not just throw to first base.
Yeah, in the last game they had, Jeff, versus Pittsburgh, Harrison got on base, McCutchen got on base, and Polanco were on base. Neither one of them stole. And my favorite part of the game is Lester comes out of the game, and I believe 2 batters later, Harrison tries to steal. I believe it was Harrison, and he gets thrown out at second base. I'm saying to myself, so you wait for John Lester to leave the game to steal on the Cubs. It's one of those things. I don't know if it's an unwritten rule or don't embarrass the guy or whatever it is, but I just can't understand why people just don't take bags left and right off that guy because he's a great pitcher.
And John Lackey is another guy that struggles there. I know Billy Hamilton, I watched a game a week or so ago where he had a field day just stealing bases against those two. Yeah, it's something I would utilize more. I think if you're the Phillies, why not go for it? Why not do that tonight?
Yeah, what do you have to lose? Exactly.
Yeah. I will say this. I think after the Phillies won last night, it's hard for me to think that they'll win again tonight. But look, hey, they got their guy on the mound. And the Cubs have been a good point by White Guy Video Games, or no, not White Guy Video. Someone on here, I must have lost it, but they're just not reliable. The Cubs really, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a pass. Donnie, before we get into the next game, just want to run down some things here. Richard Borey, he's been communicating with us on Twitter. He's enjoying the hangout. Thank you for getting on, Richard. Subscribe to the page if you haven't. Couple other people here. Can't complain about having a burger for lunch.
I want a burger, man. Come on.
Yeah, Kevin, I got to say, I'm a big burger guy, and after this, I might have to get one myself. Big Man and Donnie, is Joshua going to fight Wilder anytime soon? I would imagine he would. I think it would be an absolute mega fight. You bring that over, whether it's here or in the United Kingdom. Deontay Wilder, obviously the best United States heavyweight. Joshua, the best England heavyweight. I think it would be an absolute mega fight. The problem you have, though, is Klitschko and while Joshua signed a 2-fight contract. So I would like to see the rematch with them, but I will say this. I think the heavyweight division is as strong as it's been since, forever, since the Lennox Lewis, Vander Holyfield days. This is a really good group right now, and I think it's only going to be better for boxing. If you like boxing in the next year or so, I think it would be a good idea to get back into it. We have a great fight this weekend with Canelo and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Mexican on Mexican. That's going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to the next couple weeks and the next year or so in these sweet signs. So, we'll get back into baseball, but a lot of great stuff here in the chat box. Really fun. Let's get into the next one, Don.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. We're going to move over to Milwaukee and St. Louis. Peralta versus Martinez. Early action here. 35%, Jeff, of the tickets coming in on Milwaukee. However, 71% of the money is loading up on the Milwaukee Brewers as opposed to St. Louis being the home team. Interesting line movement, though. Opens up at -170 and is currently hitting at Chris at -190. 5 dimes at -185. Sportsbook.com at -190. Opened up on the total at 8, Jeff. Has since been bet down to 7.5. Peralta, 2 road starts, been decent, 3.75 ERA. Martinez is 0-1 through 3 home starts at a 3.93 ERA. Milwaukee hanging in there, very good value on the road, Jeff. 7-3 overall. St. Louis scuffling a little bit at home to 8-7. One of those interesting line reactions. If you see the work that I do and the work that Jeff does, a lot of the times we don't have much on these type of games. The Philadelphia Phillies game, we like to break it down, but it's a -220. Same thing with St. Louis. Is anybody in the right mind just going to take a money line of -190 right now on St. Louis? It doesn't sound smart. I know the indicators are showing that technically that's a St. Louis line there, but I don't have much on this game. And again, when these lines are high, I don't find much value in the underdog because at that number, they're technically not supposed to win. But again, on St. Louis, I don't have much here, Jeff. What do you got on this one?
You look at the last 14 games for these teams combined, 13 have gone over. As far as the last 7 for Milwaukee, the last 7 for St. Louis, all 7 have gone over. This St. Louis team has been firing on all cylinders right now offensively, crushing the ball, hitting .310 over the last week. The Milwaukee Brewers, Donnie, all year, it seems like they have been good offensively. I mean, they're averaging, both these teams, Milwaukee's averaging over 5 runs a game, over 7 over the last week. I mean, you have two pitchers here. I'm not a big Wiley Peralta fan. I made that clear. He's just an average middle-of-the-road starter. He's going to give you, 5 innings. He's going to probably give up 3, 4, 5 runs. And Martinez, Donnie, what Martinez is going to show up? Is it going to be the guy that, strikes out a ton of guys or struggles with control? He has walked a lot of people in his outings. I remember one, he had walked like 6 in 2 innings. So I think we see runs here. It's hard for me to not ride the over with these two teams right now. They've just been over money cashers. And, you look at the point of this Milwaukee team. I mean, the pitching hasn't been particularly good lately. Opponents hitting 297 over the last week. And I think right now there's a couple series where you just got to kind of ride overs, and this would be one of them.
Yeah, no question about it. We'll keep it moving here on the baseball tab. Full docket today. Rotation 9-11, 9-12 going to the left coast. San Francisco is going to pop Matt Moore out there, the lefty, versus another lefty in Wood on the Dodgers. Early betting action, Jeff, 38%. The tickets coming in on San Francisco, but 56% of the money. However, that line has since opened at 154, Jeff, at 5 dimes on SBRodds.com. I'm saying minus 165, so line moving in the Dodgers' direction. If we take a little snapshot about this game, 2 road starts for Matt Moore, Jeff. It's really hard to back that guy. 8.68 ERA, hasn't shown much at all this year. Wood's first home start of the year has done pretty well, though, Jeff, on the road. 3.14 ERA. San Francisco 4-9 on the road after a big win over Clayton Kershaw last night. However, snapping back after a win, Jeff, San Francisco only 1-8 overall. LA Dodgers are 5-7 versus left-handed pitching, so they have improved that number slightly since the season came in. I like to talk more about last night, Jeff, talking about Kershaw with that over-under at 6. They cover that number, and also the upset. The Dodgers some nights just don't bring the bats to the ball yard, and laying those big numbers, which almost seems, Jeff, every single night. The Dodgers are minus 150 to 200. There's always a lot of value going against them. I don't have much early as the indicators in this one show, but it's hard to back Matt Moore on the road right now.
No, Matt Moore is a mess on the road, and at home, he's absolutely fantastic. You look at the numbers, Donnie. On the road, opponents hitting 378 against him. At home, 197. So a total different pitcher on the road. And look, San Francisco has not been good after a win this year. You look at after a win, they're 1-8 in the next game. I just can't be too high on that. And look, I know they scratched some runs last night off Clayton Kershaw, but if you look at that lineup, I mean, my God, that lineup looked brutal. But, hey, nice job from them. I got to also say I'm not crazy about laying 170 with Alex Wood. The Dodgers have lost all 3 starts of his this year, and all of his starts have come on the road, which is odd. He hasn't pitched at home yet. Look, I got to be honest. I think this price is going to continue to rise. Dodgers will get backed here. People look at more at that in that road ERA. But like the Phillies, it's hard for me to imagine that the Dodgers will lose 2 straight. But I got to tell you, gun to my head, pick it or blow your head off, I would take the Giants, honestly. I think the public's going to slam Alex Wood here, and I'm just not really too high on this guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting one. There is value going the other way. And again, the Dodgers haven't been playing great baseball the way they've started off the season. Next game on the rotation, Jeff, we'll keep it out here on the left coast. This is the first game I'm going to really take a hard look at as the day goes on. We have some false flag indicators that I really like and have been very profitable so far. That's Colorado with Chatwood versus San Diego with Cahill on the mound. Early betting indicators in this one, Jeff, 73% of the tickets are currently back in Colorado, getting 53% of the money. San Diego, however, a lighter ticket count at 27%, but almost double the money for their ticket count at 47% coming in. Line opened up at Colorado as a slight favorite at minus 110. They're still a slight favorite, but a heavy betting action trend coming in with Colorado. That line should be moving forward. If you look at Pinnacle right now, Jeff, minus 108. If you slide across 5 dimes, minus 108. Greek, minus 108. That line's not moving a lot. That's exactly what I like to look for. So we'll let those tickets pile up in the afternoon to see what comes about. If we take another little window into this game, Chatwood's been really good on the road. 2 road starts, 2.40 ERA. Cahill threw his one home start, 7 innings and 1 earned run. Not a lot to work off of there, but Chatwood certainly has been good away from Coors. The one indicators that stick out to me as well, Colorado, Jeff, 16-10 on the overall, 12-6 in the division, 9-4 on the road. San Diego seems to not be able to hit right-handed pitching at 6-12 and 11-16 overall. However, that line holding it almost a pick 'em. This is going to be one of those games I circle, and I'm going to take a deep look at as the afternoon goes along.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get in. I mean, it's hard for me to understand why this total's at 7.5. I mean, look, I get the Padres aren't very good offensively, but I mean, both these pitchers, I mean, I'm not particularly fans of either of them. I don't know, kind of a weird total, but I remember a weird total last week at the Padres and it fell 4-3. So look, I think the one problem with them is they're just so inept from the plate at times. They truly have just like 1 or 2 guys that you're worried about in that lineup. But yeah, as far as why you would bet this game, I have no idea. It's a pass for me. I'll let you have fun with that one.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take a look at that one. Goes in again. Not many tickets piling up, obviously, because it's a 10 o'clock game, and I don't think that much interest should be in that game, but we'll see how that goes along. Next up on the rotation, Jeff, an interest for you here. 9:15, 9:16, Toronto and 1, Matt Latos versus Tanaka on the mound. We all know where this is going. 71% of the early tickets, Jeff, coming in on the Yankees, only 29% on Toronto, so people are looking for them to have a bounce back. The interesting number here, Jeff, did you know 71% of the money is actually backing Toronto, but we don't have any reverse line movement. The line opened up at -192. If you take a look now, Jeff, at sportsbook.com, it's up to -200 here for the New York Yankees. If we take a look at some indications on how the game might go, 2 road starts. I'm actually surprised that Latos is coming in at 3.27 ERA. Tanaka's been really good at home, Jeff. Through his 2 starts, 2.70 ERA. Wind is blowing out to right center field, right on that porch at 15 miles an hour. Toronto, 9-17 overall, 2-7 after a win. The New York Yankees, despite losing yesterday, are 10-3 at home and 15-9 overall, despite losing the last 2 in that one. A heavy, heavy favorite here in the Bronx, Jeff, for Masahiro Tanaka.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's because, lately he's been unbelievable. 16 innings. He's given up 1 earned run. He's been fantastic. He's been the guy that I think we all know he is. He had a couple tough starts to start the year. But look, I know the public's on the Yankees here, but the public's backed the Yankees all month, really. So I don't really think that's much of an identifier here. Listen, I'm not betting on Matt Latos in the Bronx against this lineup right now. I'm sorry. I don't care what he's been doing. And look, the writing's on the wall for Matt Latos. Unless he throws a no-hitter tonight, I find it hard to believe he's in this rotation when J Happ comes back. He's a dead guy at this point, and a dead man walking in this rotation. He just doesn't have it much anymore. It would be hard for me to believe that the Blue Jays would win tonight. The Yankees are 10-3 at home. They're hitting 276 as a club. Toronto's had issues all year scoring runs. I know the public will be on this one, but I actually would probably lay the run line. I think the one good thing about the Yankees is on run lines and in these situations, they do have a bullpen that I got to be honest, Donnie, I think is the best in baseball as far as bullpens are concerned. In Tanaka, you would expect him to go deep. He has a great ERA in 10 starts. He's 6-3 with a 2.34 ERA against the Blue Jays. Shut him down last year. I don't think it's there's no different here. I would lay the run line here with the Yankees. I know it's a square play, but I'm not interested in
Matt Latos for sure. About halfway through the card, folks. If you haven't done so yet, follow us on SBR Sports Picks. Follow me at Rightside VP. Follow the big man over there at Jeff Nadu on Twitter. And also, if you haven't subscribed to yet, if you're just new to the chat box, chime in, say hello, where you're from, and hit that subscribe button down there under SBR Sportsbook Review here on YouTube. Let's keep it moving down the list here, Jeff. 9:17, 9:18, Baltimore and Boston. Asher versus Sale. Early numbers coming in, 63% of the tickets on Boston. No surprise. Chris Sale is usually money the way he pitches on the mound. We'll get to his overall numbers in just a few moments here. But going over some numbers, looks like 8.5 is what the total is sitting at here. Opened up at 9, which is interesting. Monster number for Chris Sale, Jeff. -240 to start out. -235 currently on 5 dimes. -250 at sportsbook.com if you check out sbrodds.com. Give a little window into this one. Asher, only 1 road start, was pretty good though, Jeff. 6 innings, 1 earned run. Get this. This might be my favorite stat line I've seen in a incredibly long time with any pitcher. 5 starts into the season, 1-2. ERA 1.19. That is unbelievable. The wind is, however, blowing out tonight, Jeff, at 19 miles an hour to right center field. Britton is back for Baltimore, so that's going to give a little bit of boost to the bullpen. And Boston is 8-3 after loss. But, Jeff, Chris Sale can't catch a break. Unreal statistics and has a losing record.
Yeah, he has one of the lowest run supports in baseball with qualified starters at if you have 5 starts. I mean, 2 runs a game just isn't good enough. Here's the problem tonight, though, for Baltimore. They're good. They're throwing at Alec Asher, who they picked up from the Phillies, a young pitcher. He's never pitched in Fenway before. I have a premonition tonight that they hit him pretty hard. I think they give him some support tonight. Finally, I don't know if it'll be a lot, but I think they put up 4 or 5 runs for him here. I think that'll be enough. This Baltimore team I like, but I don't like them on the road particularly. And Asher, I don't know whether I can trust him. I think Sale will be fine tonight. You mentioned the wind blowing out. I'll back Sale and the Red Sox here. It for me is a play that I'll make just because I like the spot. If you're down or something, I wouldn't probably follow my opinion. Just kind of a premonition, a feel for me. I think they hit Asher pretty hard here, Donnie. I think they give support to Chris Sale finally because they've been hearing it all week. I don't know if you saw, Donnie. Did you see that thing? Chris Sale was like showing a kid how to throw a pitch. You seen that?
No, I did not. No.
It was like a picture of there was no one else seeing Chris Sale. You see him talking to some kid in the stands. I guess the kid was like a young pitcher, and he was teaching him how to throw a pitch.
Yeah. Yep.
And someone wrote on the caption, maybe he can teach someone how to throw a pitch, but he won't get any run support anyway. And something like that. It was pretty funny. But, yeah, I mean, it's evident in Boston right now. It's a big problem. I think they give him some run support tonight. I really do. I think Asher in Fenway for his first time, I think it's a tough pill to swallow for him here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Who knows what Sale? I mean, being a pitcher, the hardest thing to go through is when you're pitching that well. You feel like you have to be perfect to go through a game. He's just about perfect and still has a losing record, which is amazing there.
Yeah, no, you don't see that too often. It kind of reminds you a little bit of Cole Hamels when he was with the Phillies. There were years where he was just awesome, but he didn't have any. I think he had like 7 wins because he didn't get any run support. It's just crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's always been the Chris Sale problem. You wonder if he get run support, where he would be.
Yeah. It's interesting last night, Jeff, if the just a little bit off topic here in baseball with the Mets and the Braves. I wonder if that kid would have done another video last night after the Mets being up 6-1 would have came in and popped over there and called Terry Collins. I swear to God, if anybody out there has seen that clip, Jeff, I've known you've seen it, where the kid just unloads on Syndergaard and the Mets and Terry Collins. And the fact that the kid called Terry Collins a little orange shit when the kid can't be more than like 12 or 13 years old. I lost my mind. I mean, I had to watch that video like 3 times. This kid unloading on the Mets, calling Syndergaard a Barbie doll, and oh my goodness.
He also called Collins a shithead, which I thought.
That's what I mean. Yeah, little orange.
I will say this, Don. I don't mean to take the air out of the balloon, but I do think that's fairly fake. If you actually look that kid up on Instagram, it is a satire page. He does know a lot about the Mets. It does seem kind of he knows the trainers' names and stuff, so it's fairly odd. But it was a really funny rant, calling Terry Collins
23-8, Terry.
Yeah, calling him
That's
a little
minor league stuff.
Calling him a little shithead and when he comes in with the Syndergaard and looks like a fucking Barbie doll or whatever. I want to find out more about this kid.
Can we get him on the show, man, to give maybe a daily recap of something going wrong in baseball?
Let's hear this quick.
Oh my God, we won 2 out of 3. Big deal. This team is an absolute fucking joke. 23-8. Syndergaard, get out of here, you little Barbie doll. Get the fuck out of here. Go get a little robotic arm, because you can't even stay 2 innings for this team without getting hurt. You fucking idiot. It's all Ray Ramirez's fault, that fucking mole face. Get him out of here. You got Kevin Plawecki getting absolutely rocked. I mean, it's bad when you can put the backup catcher in there. Like, damn, get the hell out of here and go to the minor leagues, boy. Terry, it's over for you, you little shithead. The little orange, you slow as shit. I just need to fucking get out of here, because I'm not liking what I'm seeing from this team. 23-8, Terry. Better wipe this team.
That is classic, man. You could play that on repeat for me all day, and I still will keep laughing at it.
The problem I have is
that sounds like me after a losing wager. Like, I would love to do a stream of every bet I lost. That would be me.
I've often said someone should install a camera in my living room, and I don't know about it. But you see a lot of funny shit from what I say. But yeah,
you see a lot of pacing from me, that's for sure.
The problem I have, Donnie, is if you're going to do that, you got to get the score right, cuz. Come on.
I think it was even better that he got the score wrong. I loved it. Even
he's calling out the
23-8, Terry.
And him swearing is just even funnier. I don't know about you, but like, I think it's funny. I will say this though. There's a guy, that bigger guy, that Frank Fleming guy. You've seen him, right? The Mets fan.
No, what's he do?
He's like they had him on TV one night, and he's become like a internet sensation. He's like a really big guy, and he's been all over the place. I don't think he's funny at all. But this kid, I mean, he's like what, 8, 9 years old. Terry.
That's fan. I just had to bring that up.
It's even funnier that he has like a New York. He doesn't even have a New York accent. He's like he's probably from like Mississippi or something. It's pretty funny.
I got to see if I can follow him on Twitter. Let's get back to the card today. Sure. Had a little fun with that. That was great. Next one up on the docket, 9:19, 9:20. Chris Kluber, Justin Verlander. Turn back your clocks on some Cy Young Award winners. 56% of the tickets back in Kluber. 51% of the money, Jeff. Not much movement in lines here. SBRodds.com. We're sitting at about a -120 on 5 dimes. Sportsbook -119. Line opened up at -120. Take a little bit of look at the game. Wind dead left field, 19 miles an hour. So if you're right-handed batter in this one, you get a hold of one. That's going to certainly help you out. 3 road starts for Kluber, Jeff. 3.00 ERA. Verlander sparkling at home. 2 starts, not an earned run given up. Cleveland 14-11 overall. As you know, Jeff, this is your squad. 11-3 versus right-handed pitching. Detroit 9-6 versus division. Very interesting matchup here. About 2,100 tickets have been tracked, and as I said, a slight 57% advantage now for Cleveland. This one. Any thoughts that you're looking at on this one, Jeff?
You know, Donnie, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to skip this one, man. I gotta play on this game, so I'm gonna have to abstain from it. First premium play up May. We'll
say I'll carry it there on the chat board there. Kyle, Miguel Cabrera should be back in the lineup, so that one could be interesting as well. And if you're looking total-wise, interesting. I know these are 2 good pitchers on paper. They've having very good success, as we just went over, home and away splits there. But that line, or that wind blowing out to left field at 19 miles an hour, opened up, I believe. Let me take a better look here, at 8 as the total. It's now down to 7.5. So certainly some sharp action pushing that lower. That's one that you might want to take a look at and see what's what with that. But only about 21 tickets coming in that are tracked so far. 7 p.m. start on that. So that's going to be an interesting one on that. And I know, Jeff, we will abstain from that and certainly go by. Next up here on the docket for us, Jeff, 9:21, 9:22 rotation. Donnie? Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you quickly, back to that kid for a second.
Yes.
And again, I have no kids, so I can't comment on this, but I literally have no issue with a kid that age swearing. Like, I really don't. And I know, like, I was raised like the right way. I didn't really swear or nothing. But nowadays, with the way things are, it seems like once you get past like 8 or 9 years old, swearing.
I have a truck driver mouth, no question about it. I try to tighten it up for the show and stuff, but
you have a daughter. You have a daughter, Donnie.
Yes.
When she gets 10, 11 years old, if she says, I mean, obviously for a woman it's a little different, but if I had a son, he's that kid's age. I mean, they're swearing with their friends, so like you can't hide that.
You can't get away from it on TV either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on regular cable, and they just have to be taught right from wrong in that. But yeah, no, there's no getting around it or getting away from it.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it. I know someone on here, QQQ Wilson, swearing at 10 years old needs a kick in the ass. Yeah, I think with, and again, I don't know how old you are, brother, but I know maybe the older generation might have a problem with it. Maybe like I know if I did that in front of my grandma, I mean, she would probably be mad, but I don't have a problem with it anymore. It's like, it's a different time. But yeah, so we'll move on. We digress at times, but yeah, I have a play on that one, so I'll stay off of it.
Let's take a look at the next one here. The Chicago White Sox with Quintana versus Kansas City and Danny Duffy. A battle of left-handers here. 58% of the tickets coming in on the White Sox, 67% of the money. Here's another one of those false flag indicators, people, that you might want to take a look at. Opened up at -133 on Pinnacle, has peeled back to -113 on Chris, -115 currently on Pinnacle. 42% of the wagers coming in on Danny Duffy, only 33% of the money. This is one of those games that I do have circled. We'll try to take a look once those starting lineups come out to make sense of what's what. It's always easily to fade Kansas City. It doesn't matter if they're at home or on the road. They did pick up a win last night. Quintana, one road start. However, Jeff, not good. 7.94 ERA. In layman's terms, that's 6 innings, 5 earned runs. Duffy, one home start, 7 innings, 1 earned run. I'm a big Danny Duffy guy, always pitches well. However, White Sox, Jeff, 7-2 versus left-handed pitching. This is one of the games I have circled. I'm going to do a lot of digging as the game goes on later on today. Any thoughts for the people out there, Jeff, on this one?
This is a tough one because I mentioned I really like Duffy. I also really like Quintana. I think he's had a tough start to the year with limited run support.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the, he had a one tough outing. But, yeah, I mean, White Sox only hitting 219. Kansas City's only hitting 214. I know they kill left-handed pitching, but they didn't kill left-handed pitching last night. Danny Duffy's tough as well. I would go under 8 here, just kind of a feel for me. Whenever I can get Quintana, Duffy, the Chicago White Sox bullpen, I'm going to look under the total. If you heard me before, the Chicago White Sox have the best team ERA in baseball. At 8, I would go under the total here. I think this is at most a 4-2, 3-2 type of game. I go under.
Yeah, no, not a lot of power coming out for Kansas City, and it's nice to have a bullpen that backs you up. I mean, if you're starting pitcher and you can get through the 5th or 6th inning, maybe 2 or 3 earned runs, they're really good, especially at this time of the year so far. So you would look at one of those indicators that would give you that over 8 total, 7.5 now dipping down. So sharp money's probably pushing that a little bit lower, and I would tend to agree with you. Next one, interesting. Welcome back, Sonny Gray. Oakland Athletics, Minnesota Twins, Irving Santana. We're going to get to some of his numbers in just a few moments. Eye-popping there. 48% of the tickets, Jeff, backing Oakland on the road here, and 88% of the money. I know we've all heard about Sonny Gray. We know his name, but after the rocky road he's been on injury-wise, last year not finishing the season up so well, heading into this season with his first start today, over-under is going to open up at 8.5, Jeff, dip down to about 8. Minus 140, Santana opens up with finally getting some respect. However, the betting public not giving him much respect. Peeling back to a minus 125 here at 5 times. If we take a look, obviously we went over Gray's first start of the year. Santana, Jeff, 5 starts, 0.77 ERA. Talk about that, brother.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Oakland is the worst lineup in baseball. Their lineup is disgustingly bad. And you're telling me the public's back in Oakland here?
88% of the money on Oakland.
Sign me up for Minnesota. I love Irvin Santana. I've told all of you, when he pitches, I bet him. I don't care when it is. I bet him. I don't care about the price. As long as it's under 160, I will bet Irvin Santana. This guy is fantastic. He's had a very good career. I think if the Twins are sellers at the deadline, some team is going to be very happy in late July. Sonny Gray, I mean, let me ask you a question. I mean, why on earth would you back him here? He was fucking horrible last year. He's off an injury. Listen, if he pitches well tonight, that's fine. But I get the feeling Irvin Santana pitches just as well. I don't have any reason to think that his dominance against the Oakland Athletics doesn't continue. I mean, Donnie, in 29 starts, he has an ERA of 2.04. Why
no, you're right on that one
here? I don't get it.
Being a capper, one of the hardest things that you want to take a look at is a guy making a first start, and especially off an extended rest period of time off injury. It's interesting that line opens up, which where you thought it would opened up with the way Santana's pitched and Sonny Gray being a wild card. And keep in mind, again, I like Oakland's lineup a little bit more than Jeff does, but we're not talking about, the 1920s New York Yankees. They got some good hitters on that team.
Like who?
What's that? No, I mean, I'm saying that the overall structure of the lineup isn't that bad for me. I mean, they're always going to play Billy Bean baseball, force the walks, get on base and push it. But I agree. It's hard, even though the line indicators, everything, Jeff, are what I look for with Oakland here. It's a first start. Like, what do you have to go off of? Is he able to pitch count? They're going to say you're only going 5 innings tonight. Like, there's a lot of restrictions that could be in play. So if you're betting Oakland, just be wary. Just do your homework on that one, which I'm going to look into it a little bit deeper as the day goes. But it's hard for me to bet a guy just coming back off injury and that type of indication. So
when you have Adam Rosales leading off, you have a major problem. I mean, I'll take Irvin Santana all day, every day here.
Next up on the docket, Jeff, one of the guys we always like to talk about here, Cole Hamels versus Matt Fiers today. That would be the Rangers versus the Astros. Rotation 925, 926,
Hey,
65%. Yes, go ahead.
Real quick, before we get into this game, why don't you just talk to listeners about where you're getting your – you don't even have to extend – just let them know it's a paid service.
There's multiple services out there where you can get tickets and indicators that we read off of. You can even find them right on sbrodds.com. I use a multitude of websites that I bounce back and forth because not everybody has exactly what I'm looking for. So you certainly have to mesh it in. I'm just reading off a script right here as they come in. But DM me for details at Rightside VP. But certainly they're right on SBR. You can find those out. And a lot of websites, paid websites, non-paid websites, they can give that information to you. Just hit a Google search in there. They'll be able to bring you up anything that you want. But it's just a matter of what you like and what you like to read and look at. There's a lot of sites that provide this to us.
Right, exactly. As far as this game is concerned, which one am I going to Texas Houston?
Yeah, Texas Houston. Yep.
I mentioned Texas's dominance against Houston over the years, and because Mike Fiers is pitching tonight, it's not going to really change my view on this. Cole Hamels has had some issues though lately, but he has had a very good. He has been very good on the road. I mean, dating back to last season, I don't know. I've mentioned again and again, I don't think Texas lineup is very good. This is a pass for me. I didn't really look much into it, but just like the first game we talked about, too many sides are both that can make the case. So I'll pass.
Yes, and to bring up that point again, when you're looking at those indicators, trust me, if you're just looking at numbers and not taking a real approach or gut feeling to add to those numbers in baseball, football, basketball, you'll end up hurting yourself in that. Right. Because if betting against the public, as me and Jeff always talk about, is so easy, nobody would have services and there'd be no reason to even bet baseball, basketball, or football because you would just fade the public. It doesn't work. You have to throw a lot of things in, starting lineups, pitching rotations, where they're playing at, have they played well there, who's betting on who, why is the line moving? All of that comes into it. So don't think it's that easy just betting against the public and you win money. It's not like that.
You'll definitely probably day after day find one that will come through, but you can go seasons where, like last year, there were people that literally are lifetime.
Cleveland Browns, Jeff. Go ahead, talk about them. You always said it last year.
There were people that were legitimate lifetime losers in sports betting. They literally lose in every sport, no matter what. And they had great years in NFL last year, and that was because of the inability of the Sharps to win games. The public cashed a lot last year. It was major news in Las Vegas with the sports books. The public cashed last year. But you look at a group like the Sharps, they're going to – and this is how I think you get to being a sharp person. A sharp person is not necessarily someone that knows what to bet. It's necessarily having the ability to bet on games because they make sense. Last night, the Royals didn't make sense. The White Sox, they were probably going to lose, but the value was there. The Sharps knew when to take it. They know when to take games. And you look at last year, they were dead wrong in the Cleveland Browns. Week after week, they're taking the 7 points and just getting crushed every week. And I'm thinking to myself, at what point are they going to realize this isn't working? But at the end of the day, like I said, it's not about losing money. You're going to lose money. And that's why when people get on me about losing bets, I laugh a lot at them because it's not about winning and losing for me. It's just about over the course of a month, a year, did I make the right bets? Did I make the right wagers? I built my money up. I'm going just fine. I'm going to make the wagers whether they win or lose and or if they make sense. I just have to know when I can make them and how I can make them, and I'm going to make them. That's just how it goes. It's not about money. It's about, is this the right spot? And you have to decipher that just by sitting here, going over every game, having a good mix of that, which I think you and I have tried to have.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's about, trusting your ideas that you have, trusting your stats that you use, and having it over a long-term success period. Because trust me, we've been in this a long time. There's a lot of wins. There's a lot of losses. There's a lot of really nice scenarios that you cook up that work for 3 weeks and then get blown up over 3 weeks. There's scenarios that I've used in baseball that were successful for an entire season, and then you try to use it the next season and it's destroyed by, June 15th. So it's a lot of give and take in the betting industry. And again, somebody just asked me on the chat box here, do I look at umpires? I currently don't really look at umpires. But if there's something where somebody is winning with umpires and umpire strategies, I'm all in on that. I love to keep adding to the repertoire because the more you learn and the more you look objectively at these games, and it doesn't matter what sport it is, find something that works for you, apply your craft on that, and never stop changing the craft. Because if you just stay stagnant, you're going to get beat up within the next following weeks or the following years. A lot of these stats change, fluctuate, new stats, new information come into play. Always be a sponge in this business. That's the best thing that you can certainly do.
Yeah, one thing I will say on the umpire point of view, if I'm looking at totals, I'm highly interested in what an ump is, because you look at like Don, and I'm not going to bring it up. There's another website, and I know SBR does it as well, of umpire trends. You look at a guy like Bruce Dreckman. Bruce Dreckman's been an over guy for most of the year. Coming into the game on Sunday in that Red Sox game, you look at the unders that he's had. They've been under by like a half a run. Bruce Dreckman is an over ump. I would look a lot of the time, if you have an over under in his games, it would be in your best interest to look over. If you see a lot of his games, like that game the other night, total was 8.5, it fell 8. He's very close as far as the numbers are concerned. I look at umpires, I definitely, especially when I'm looking at totals, but is it something that I'm that concerned with? Not really. But when you have something like that, I do look into that.
Always indicators. Yep. There's that information is now out there. The one thing, what's funny, Jeff, a service that provides this, or it's one thing with Las Vegas, everything usually melds in and you can find whatever information you want, like bullpen stats, starting pitching stats, home and away stats. Why is there not a strict indicator where you can just pull up first 5 inning stats for a pitcher? Like just his ERA in the first 5 innings, how many pitches he throws. I mean, you can research it yourself. It would take you endless amount of hours. I'm always surprised that you just can't find first 5 inning statistics. It's baffling to me.
Yeah, there's again though, with first fives, I mean, it's pretty. I mean, you have 10 pitchers. 7 or 8 are going to be normally decent in the first 5 innings. I mean, it's very rare that you get a guy that just gets crushed in the first 5. It happens, but it's not often. Yeah, I hear you. I think there should be stats on all that stuff. Maybe SBR can attack that.
Yes, if somebody could do that, I would absolutely love that. Let's get through these last 2 games, Jeff, and get the NBA. Angels with Schumacher on the mound versus Seattle with Paxton. Early light betting coming in, but however, most people are on Seattle with Paxton backing him at 71%. Line opened up at -142, up to 5 dimes currently at -147. Looking at this game, Schumacher, 3 road starts. Been pretty good, Jeff. 3.12 ERA. Paxton at home, 2 home starts, haven't given up a run. He's actually had 5 starts this year, Jeff. 4 of those starts he's thrown a shutout, and 1 start versus the Oakland A's versus Valdez. And that 1 road start gave up, I believe, 5 earned runs in that one. LAA 5-2 versus left-handed pitching. Seattle 6-3 at home. Paxton, one of your favorite pitchers in baseball. Jeff, talk about this game a little bit.
I love Paxton, but I don't like it here. This line smells to me. Why is this line not 170, Donnie? I mean,
really, I don't. Maybe LA a little bit of a rebirth and hits left-handed pitching a little bit, but I hear you.
The Angels suck on the road. They do hit lefties well. But you have to remember, and here's the thing about Paxton. If you like Paxton, you should not be betting a full game line with James Paxton. I'm sorry. I can't trust the Mariners. I mean, their bullpen is a fucking joke. I mean, as far as, they're just a fraud. I mean, this bullpen is terrible. A 5.8 ERA. Why would you want to trust? I think if you like Paxton, you go first 5. But for me, if I can get this line to keep rising, if I can get this around 145, 150, I would maybe take a flyer out on the Angels. They hit lefties well. They've kind of had a little bit of a rebirth lately offensively. But yeah, Paxton's not a guy I want to step in front of. But just remember, that bullpen is waiting in the wings late to blow games. But yeah, Seattle's been good at home. They got their guy on the mound. For me, though, it just looks too good to be true. So, for me, I would not be interested in this game.
Next up, last game on the docket, we'll take a look at 9:29, 9:30. We have some interleague action with Cobb on the mound versus Volquez. Very light betting to start here, but 58% of the backers taking the road team in Tampa Bay. Line opened up at -126, but has gone up a little bit, Jeff. 5 dimes on SBRodds.com showing -131. I don't have too much on the game. If we take a look at some little stats here, Cobb on the road, 3 road starts, hasn't been very good. 5.19 ERA. Volquez has had 1 home start. He went only 5 innings and gave up 2 earned runs. Tampa Bay, despite of their winning last night on the road, is still 4-10 on the road. Maybe Tampa Bay gets a full lineup in play here. Over under opened up at 8. Pinnacle currently showing at 7.5, but particularly looks like it's 8 for most of the board out there. I don't have many things popping up on this one, just the fact that the public is slightly betting Tampa Bay over Miami at this point.
Yeah, before I get into the breakdown, Dominican King. Indians screwed me last night. Trevor Bauer is ass. Cocky son of a bitch. Hope he gets drilled in the face. Let me ask you a question, Dominican King, and this is no disrespect. Why bet on him then? Why'd you bet on Trevor Bauer? Trevor Bauer's been fucking terrible. It's hard for me to ever get interested in him, especially when the Indians are facing a left-handed pitcher. They're just inept as far as that's concerned. But I thought that was funny. It made me laugh. As far as Sosalik,
Yeah, I'm going to
variance.
go ahead and hit on that.
Yeah,
I'm going
I
to
want
get
you,
on
I
that.
want you to get into that, but let me just break this one down quick. I
Yeah.
kind of like the over in this game, Donnie. You look at both these pitchers. You have two kind of middle of the hill reliever or pitchers. You're not going to normally. I mean, Cobb's ERA is around 5. Volquez, same thing. And the thing with Volquez, Donnie, he's been particularly. He's had particular issues in the first inning. He's given up a run in all 5 first innings that he's had this year. So he's yielding hard contact. You look at, according to MLB.com, 52% of his balls in play have been line drives or fly balls. He's getting balls hit hard. I think Tampa Bay will continue to make contact. I mentioned I really like the Marlins lineup as well. I would probably look over the total. These are 2 pretty good over teams.
Yeah.
And the Marlins and Rays bullpens that will normally keep on giving late in games. So I would probably look over in this one if I had to go with it. But for me, it's not on the top of my card. Big man, is it better to just take D-backs, Tigers, and Nats first 5? Probably right now, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. There are very few teams that I would look to back full game. I mean, there are not many. And if you're getting the nice pitcher, you like like him. It's spot every day, but yeah, there's are teams that I would not be hugely into betting full game. Donnie, why don't you address the variance thing?
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, the one thing is, first 5 is a real thing. It's a betting thing, and Soslik comes up, which again, this is why I love the chat board to go back and forth on stuff. It's a variance. So if I go back and read and it says variance is there in every game, and the first 5 innings is even bigger and more occurring, I would argue less than that. The other starting pitcher, your starting pitcher. The exact batters that are going to happen over the first 5 innings. And if there's first 5 inning stats on that, why would there be variance? And you say, a pitcher can have one bad game. Okay, so then we should throw out ERA and full game stats for the pitcher because maybe his bullpen doesn't come in. Maybe Miguel Cabrera doesn't hit 4 home runs off him and sits that night. I mean, there's going to be variance technically from what you're saying in every single ERA, every single stat there is. For myself, I always like to look at first 5 as betting in a vacuum and maybe the easiest indicators because I can look at exact lineups of who's going against who. If I have Miguel Cabrera lined up against Chad Kuhl and he's 4 for 16 over his career, I have some hardcore stats that I can look at over those first 5 innings. Well, maybe I don't know who Miguel Cabrera is going to match up in the 7th inning when a bullpen comes in. So to me, it actually has more stat validity over the first 5 innings than anything else because I know the pitcher going against that hitter and know exact stats. There might be 7 players in the bullpen that could match up versus Miggy from 7th through 9th inning. So variance in that would be thrown out. I would think that the first 5 innings would have way more stuff, But different people look at different stuff, but I would love to see a statistic on the first 5 innings.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as far as Type Talk is concerned, less than Type. I'm not going to tell you how to bet, but you might as well take that $50 and just burn it. It would probably be better. Take that $50, grab your broad, take her out for dinner. You'll be happy at the end of the night, I'm sure, by doing that. Take your kid to the water park. Take your dog to the dog. Do something. Don't take that $50 and throw it to the sports.
Look, he's about to get 2,100, big man. How dare you tell him?
Oh yeah. If I had Kim Kardashian here, I'd probably be fucking her doggy style. I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda, Don. I mean, come on. That's not a particularly good way to bet as I don't know how long you've been doing this, but that's probably not something I would do long term. You might hit one, but I take it back to the old adage when I worked in high school at a convenience store. You might hit $100 on the lottery, but how many hundreds of dollars did you spend to hit that $100? Once in a while, you hit a lottery ticket, but it's very much not something that is truly a lottery ticket. It's very unlikely you're going to win 5, 6, 7 teams. And to waste $50 is a lot of money. And Donnie, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty humanitarian, as you know. I like to take care of people. And to throw $50 away is astronomical to me. I wouldn't do that. I know people struggle literally a mile away from me. To take $50 and just burn it like that, it's going to add up. $50 adds up. You do 5 of them, you just blew $250. Just not something I would do.
Nah, I hear you on that. Big man, let's shift before we get out of here some gears to the NBA. I know a lot of people in the chat box are looking forward to that. First game on the dock. You actually have 2 games tonight, one at 8 o'clock, one at 10:30. First up would be the Washington Wizards and the Boston Celtics in this one. 1-0 series lead for the Celtics here. If we take a look, opened up at 5.5, Jeff. Currently sitting at 5.5 with Pinnacle and Chris, but you can get a little bit of value there at 5 dimes and Sportsbook opening at -5. Any thoughts for the people out there that we can maybe lean on a side or maybe a total here?
Yeah, Boston's won 5 in a row, and Donnie, I'll tell you what, it's been because of their defense. I mean, their defense has been really fantastic lately. Washington, just a team lately that has struggled. I mean, lost 4 or 5 against the spread. Defensively, they've had issues. I just really like the way this Boston Celtics team is playing right now. They're at home here. They got an opponent that they really took care of in the first game. I know they struggled defensively in that game, but for the most part, they've been pretty damn good on the defensive end, and they're scoring the basketball. I don't have a particularly big lean on this game or this series. I think Boston's the better team, and they probably will end up prevailing. It's hard to bet against that defense right now, but you would expect a better atmosphere, a better performance here from the Washington Wizards. You can't really afford to go down 2-0. So yeah. I don't know. I don't really have a play on this side. I kind of like the other game a little bit more, but I think Boston will win this game.
Utah Jazz, Golden State Warriors in the nightcap tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rotation 503, 504. Pinnacle opens up at -13. Chris is at -12.5, but mostly across the board, we're looking at the double-digit total of 13. Over, under, open to 208, Jeff. Since bet down to 205.5. Yeah.
Really quick, listen, Type, there's really no situation. I don't care if you win for $100,000. You could have, how much money have you lost over the course of your life doing that? We just cap differently. I do this for a living. I do this to eat. I do this to survive. I don't, that's kind of why I'm a little bit more cognizant on the money that I'm putting out. I just don't think it's a great way to bet. But again, I hope you win. I wish you all the luck. I hope you win a ton of money. It's just not an effective way for me to handicap. Sorry to interrupt, Donnie.
No, man, the Golden State Warriors, unhappy Golden State Warriors, Jeff, because they're going to be subjected to going to purgatory, which is Utah and Salt Lake City, where there's apparently no nightlife and have to sit in their rooms, and they'd rather play, in LA so they can go party all night. That's the NBA for you right there, right?
Joe Ingles, kind of funny. I thought that was pretty funny.
What did he actually say? Yeah.
I guess he was talking about Ubers, and he'll they should go to LA. It would be a lot easier for them. I will disagree, though. I mean, I've been to Salt Lake City. There is a couple clubs you could go to. I mean, you head over to the Urban Lounge or Club X down in downtown. There's some places to go. I don't think the Warriors will have any problem finding places to go. Maybe get a nice dinner, a nice steak. Maybe watch a broad on the stage dance a little bit. Nothing wrong with that, right? We know Steph Curry's doing that stuff, right? But yeah, as far as this game, I think a lot of people will look at this game and say, wow, how can the Jazz be getting 12.5 here? Look, we all know I love the Jazz. I've made that perfectly clear. I would love to see this team win the whole thing and beat the Warriors. Do I think it's possible? Probably not. The Warriors are just a much better team than everyone else. I will say this. You look at kind of the real sheer toughness of doing this. You look at some of the games, Donnie. Utah played well. They even won a game the last time they played. But then you look at the fact that they've also lost by 30 and 21. So this is tough. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Warriors just go on one of those streaks and just win, 125, 106 or something. But, I'll look more towards the total in this game. I'm going to wait for the total to kind of do its thing. But it's a tough one for me. Both these games are tough. I'll look more at the total in the second game. But, I mean, you look at at home this year, Golden State 38-5. They lost 5 times. Pretty crazy. I don't know. I'll look more at the total when it comes out, but I wouldn't be too quick to just jump on that. The Warriors, we know how good they are.
Yeah, hopefully some of the information helped you guys out there with the NBA as well as Major League Baseball card. A lot of lineups, a lot of stuff still to be determined this afternoon. Me and the big man will be back tonight on the Late Night at Campus, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, if you want to follow me, at Rightside VP on Twitter. Big Man on Campus is at Jeff Nadu on Twitter, JEFFNADU, at SBR Sports Picks on Twitter, which is SBR there, as well as SBR Sportsbook Review. Hit that subscribe number, over 28,300 subscribers. We're looking to get that number pumped up into the 30,000 range. Anything less on the docket today, Jeff, before we get out of here, buddy?
Yeah, before we go, a couple people have asked me on the chat box about today's Champions League game. We're down, Donnie, to 4 teams. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, and Monaco. Juventus-Monaco play tomorrow. Today, though, you have the first leg of Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. For anyone that doesn't know, they are in the same league. They both are in La Liga. They're both no stranger to each other. For me, quickly, it's hard for me to imagine that there's a lot of goals in this game. I know a lot of people have been talking about the unders to play here. You wouldn't be wrong. What they like to do at Atletico Madrid, park the bus, play defense, try to hit you on the counter with Griezmann. And their coach is a tactician against Real Madrid. They've done really well in the past. But you look at the fact that Diego Simeone and Atletico, I mean, they've been really effective in the Bernabeu, which is Real Madrid Stadium. And they've avoided defeat in 5 of 6. So I get a weird feeling this is a draw. I think it's going to come down to the last game where I think Real Madrid will prevail in aggregate. But their focus is the Champions League Atletico. They're not going to win the league. And they're a fantastic defensive side. I kind of like plus a half a goal in this game, Donnie. I like this side. I know it's a tough thing. I know Real Madrid is in great form right now, but I can cover myself on a draw and have the outside chance that Real Madrid can sneak a goal and win this game. I'll take the plus a half a goal. I'm not in love with this play. I will send it out just because I do like it. I'll go plus a half a goal with Atletico Madrid at plus 115. They're an absolutely fantastic defensive side, probably the second best defense in all of Europe. I'll go with the plus half a goal with the Atletico Madrid side.
There you go. Anything left on the soccer docket for you, buddy?
That's going to be it. Other than Champions League, there's nothing really going on today. Find me on Twitter, which Donnie mentioned. Also, find us tonight, late night on campus, 10 o'clock Eastern. Peter Loshak will join us. We'll chat with him about his daily goings-on in the world down in Costa Rica and everything going on in his life. So tune in for that. How about a shout out on how to get your premium picks? Yeah, look, we're not big on shouting ourselves out. You can find us on Twitter. We can chat more with you about it. We're not here to plug sites and stuff. You know where to find us, Donnie.
Me and Jeff like to say information is king. If you like what we provide, you can come find us out there. But on this show, we like to help as much as possible and give both sides of the argument. And we hope it goes over well. And I know it does. 85 people watching now. Fantastic. This is what we like to do and we like to build. I look at my service as, and I don't know how many people know about this, Donnie. I know you know about this. Yeah. In South Philadelphia, there are social clubs everywhere. Yes, absolutely. Social clubs. And a social club is basically a very drabby storefront. Looks like a little clubhouse. And on the wet bar inside, all that. On the door, little bar, little maybe kitchen in the back. You got a guy in there who cooks you, a little ziti or something. Give you a nice little glass of wine. But you can't get in unless you're a member. And the members are a small, tight-knit group. You don't dispose much information that goes on. You play cards. You bet on games. I think of that group as a members-only club. It's a social club that not many people are involved with, and that's how I like it. I'm not in the tout business to get rich. I'm in the tout business because I work hard and I try to get paid a little bit for what I do. That's all I do it for. I'm not looking to gain a ton of followers. I'm not looking to get rich. I just like to have fun and chat with some of my people. So you know where to find me and Donnie. Catch us tonight, 10 o'clock. Late night on campus. We'll be back. Everyone have a great day.